Welcome to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. If you haven't seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement, give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a TV show, and that TV show is The Boys. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town.
They most definitely are.
You didn't.
I mean, I was gonna jump in on the I was gonna jump in on the second one there, but then you took it over.
Do you want to harmonize?
It's all right. It's too
No,
late.
no. We're gonna do it.
All right. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town.
All right.
Now we're in it. Now we can start. Thank you very much.
Triple threat, Chris Trio.
Here I am. Gooch, how are you?
With his voice. Great.
So we're here to discuss The Boys, obviously. You just finished it, right?
Literally,
basically, like
not even an hour
under
ago.
an hour ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's Friday. The episode just came out,
Yep.
so most of us are probably just finishing it up.
For sure.
What did you think? First impressions?
I'll give first impressions, but I do want to say, I think to get into my real details, like after this, I'm gonna have to go like spoilers.
Right.
So I'll give base right now, but I just do want to give forewarned.
I actually like totally forgot about spoilers.
Like I think there is like to talk about like this show, to talk about what I really kind of liked and disliked about the season. I really need to talk about like the plot points. But overall, I thought it wasn't as good as season 2. I didn't love the weekly drop. I feel like it kind of made it slow down a bit, and I feel like the show was more built to be binged, and it seemed like to me that was almost like an after, like, oh well, maybe we should try and make the content stretch out a bit. But I mean, I love the characters, I love the boys themselves, I love the 7. I think this is a really great take on a superhero universe, but I just felt like the writing wasn't as strong this season, and I just wasn't as locked in. Still an enjoyable. It wasn't bad by any means, though, I would say. Gooch?
I liked it. I kind of agree. I don't know if I agree. Let me backtrack. I don't think I agree with like the weekly drops being bad, but I didn't quite understand why they did 3 in the beginning and then went 1 after. Maybe because kind of what you said, they want like the bingeability, and I guess the first 3 episodes being bingeable was kind of more attractive than just getting 1 episode. But it's only 8 episodes, so it was only a 5-week drop. So I didn't mind it. If we were watching 12 or 13 episodes, we still would have had 4 or 5 weeks to go.
For sure.
So from that perspective, I didn't really mind it. I think this season is good, but here's the thing with this kind of show. It's just going to get more and more of the same. You know what to expect from the boys from just watching season 1. So season 2, what happens is surprising, but like it doesn't have that wow factor that the first season 1 does. And like that's just kind of like the nature of the shows like this, where they go in with this boom wow factor, and then that factor just like kind of like scales down the farther and farther we get into it.
Mm-hmm.
But I did really enjoy it. I didn't really like some of the themes. I think they were a little bit
heavy-handed,
too on the nose.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Like I mean this isn't spoilers.
Yeah, no, yeah. I say, listen, watch The Boys if you haven't already. I do think it's worth it.
Hey, if you want a different take on a superhero genre, The Boys is kind of your answer. It's a little more adult, a little more violent.
For sure, yes. Don't watch with your parents or your kids.
A lot more adult and a lot more violent, I should say.
Mm-hmm. But what I will say, what were you gonna say?
So the Nazi themes are like very on the nose.
It's like we get
It's not like a we get it thing, but like, with the white supremacist like movement being a thing in America again, and
I mean, it never really stopped, unfortunately.
Right, but like in politics, it's very much on the forefront. It's just like a little too on the nose and a little too it knows what it's doing kind of thing. Like with the writing, like it's just like this is like Trump and like those politics and stuff, and it's just like I don't think we really need that right now. Exactly. Yeah. Not that like it's all about that, and it's not like it takes away from it, but it's just like very on the nose. Maybe if Homelander wasn't fully in on it and just kind of, and Stormfront was.
Yeah. So that's the thing. But like the thing is, I don't even feel like they even really commit to the storyline. Like it felt like it was like
go hard into it.
Yeah, it felt like it was like just let's get some brownie points for injecting this kind of caricature of American life that like I don't know, that's very easy to dunk on at the moment. And I just feel like, and not to say that you can't do that and those themes can't be explored. I just think you can do it in a way that makes the story more interesting.
It wasn't done smart, and that's not a knock. It's just very like, this is how it is now. This is how it is in real life, and it is just paralleled in the show.
But
it's not done very smart.
It's not, and it's just, I think again, it's done in and I get the show is a caricature of real life, and I get that. But there are things that don't make sense with how, like, if this happened in the world, like, it's supposed to be the world as we know it today, basically, right? Like, it's supposed to be contemporary America. Like, the way, like, Homelander comes out for this, like, really pro-America thing and is very hardcore, like, the way that everyone on Twitter would be blowing up and, like, he somehow goes up in the polls, he would be the most rocky person, like, the most rocky public figure on earth. And, like, I felt like there was a lot of leaps in logic this season that I get it. It's a show about a guy flying around and shooting laser beams out of his head and some other guys just trying to beat him up. But, like, they just didn't make, like, so the Becca storyline. That whole time, like, as soon as Homelander showed up, I don't understand why she wouldn't be like, all right, Ryan, I'm going to teach you how to use your powers. Like, your father's a terrible person.
Yo, Gino. Come on, dude.
Come on, man.
He's digging in the trash. He's interrupting the review. Get out of there,
What
dude.
are you doing, dude?
Come on, man. Where is he? Go upstairs. Get out of here.
That's rookie shit, man.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt
It's
that.
okay. What was I saying? There was just, again, leaps in logic that I just didn't understand and just felt... So, last episode, and I know it's a TV show, like I said, how the fuck did Becca get out of that place?
I have no idea.
If she could have done that the whole time when Ryan was with him, why wouldn't she have done that before? Like, and then there's other things like with Homelander, like, and like lasering the dude. That would never go away. Like within like
Hawkeye.
Remember he gets like videotapes like lasering, like cutting the dude in half with his lasers.
Oh,
and like
right,
he's
right.
like he's
when
like
he kills the terrorist.
yeah,
and
then he kills like the civilian basically right after. Just for, like, there's the way that like the public just completely turns back on him and is like all cool with him, and like that just don't make sense with what the current political climate that they're trying to show would be to me.
Right.
Like, it doesn't
I
make
can actually agree with that. I didn't look at it like that.
Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me at all that like somehow this would work. And like it seems like there seems to be no opposition to this movement that Homelander is going with, and everyone seems to love it for some reason as soon as he goes like really like with what Stormfront is saying. But again, one thing I gotta say about the show, Anthony Starr commands the screen anytime he is on it.
He's scary, man.
Dude, when he walks in that last episode into the thing, I heard you guys say butcher, and he just closes the door, and like he just
he hears about the kid.
Yeah,
yeah.
And he's like,
"Did you get the kid?"
And he's like butcher. Yeah. He goes butcher, and then he's like, what was that about, butcher? Where's my son? And then like, after he walked out of there, he wasn't just using lasers. He was ripping people's arms off. You don't get covered in blood that way, just lasering people. But again, he is one of my favorite parts of the show. I just think the writing this season really just was not as tight, and just didn't. They had all these extra storylines like the Deep and the church storyline.
Didn't really go
anywhere at all.
Yeah,
like
it kind of was like it presented it like, and I think it concludes it at the end.
It does.
When what's this? The
leader gets his head
blown off, and it's like, okay, like I thought it was like, oh, okay, they built this arc, they're gonna go into it,
like he's gonna be coming up in the next. Yeah,
that didn't happen at all.
No.
It was like, okay, looks like the Church of Collective arc is done.
Yeah, it just felt like this weird riff on a religion that most people already kind of just don't care about or whatever, and just think is kind of silly or whatever. No offense to all our Scientology listeners, but it's just like it just felt like there was no point to Deep storyline whatsoever. And then Lamplighter as well. I really liked him. I liked him more, I think, than I liked like the Deep storyline. And we got him for like, I don't know, an episode or two.
I really liked Lamplighter.
He was awesome.
Sean Ashmore did a fucking great job. And I don't know the last movie I saw him in, but like
I don't know either. He's
a
great actor.
He's been in some games, Man of Medan and Quantum Break. But like I don't know, this role was really good for him.
It was.
I really enjoyed it, and like I didn't expect him to go out the way he did, and I actually I think Lamplighter's like my favorite soup. Starlight is probably second
Right behind,
after
yeah.
that.
So he's used very differently from. There's a lot of changes from the comics
From the source
that,
material, and that's one thing that's probably interesting. Even though we always kind of know source material, talking about like comic book movies,
Yeah.
like I don't think either of us really know the boys at all.
No, I've definitely as when the first season came out, I kind of did a deep dive on like some YouTube videos and watched just some backgrounds.
Right,
But like
that's my knowledge.
they majorly altered a lot of these. Like
Stormfront, for instance, is like the similar character, but
She's-
like a man.
Actually, she's the exact same character. She's the one that they've based. Besides changing the sex, she's literally the exact
So
same.
in the comics,
He was the first soup that they tested Compound V on back in the
but
Nazi Germany.
He wasn't related to
He wasn't-
Vought.
No, he
Right.
was. That was so that whole stuff with the leader of Vought starting in Nazi Germany and starting to develop that for Hitler.
No. He obviously like Stormfront in the comics as a guy is not married to the leader. Of
No,
Vought.
exactly.
Right,
Yeah.
That was my point.
And he's used pretty sparsely in the comics, I'm pretty sure. But like Lamplighter in the comics, like after a while, Compound V makes you go like, if you use too much of it, it makes you go like nuts and basically become feral. And like there's a part in the comics where basically I think it's Starlight and A-Train have to go down and like clean up after him because he's like in a cell like going nuts and he's like all like mangy and shit. Yeah, there's a lot of departures. What's like even Translucent doesn't exist in the comics. He was completely
Really?
made up. The guy that would have taken his place was Jack from Jupiter, which is kind of like a Martian Manhunter stand-in from the. He's actually he showed
Jack
so
from Jupiter.
so-
What a dumb name.
fuck. There's a part in the episode with Lamplighter where he kills himself. Where there's like the gay porn when he's like, stick it all in me.
Oh, that's who that
Jack.
is?
That's supposed to be Jack from Jupiter.
I knew that was a character from the comics. I
Yeah.
didn't know if it was that guy.
But like, and yeah, he looks like he's like a weird sexual deviant in the comics. And they don't really use him that much. But even like one other thing I was very disappointed in, and I guess they're just trying to hold it, is Black Noir. In the way
I
of
thought
like,
they said we were gonna get more of him, and I was
And,
like,
like-
oh, is he gonna talk
or
actually,
do something like,
other than like just fight?
yeah, I don't like because I think they're trying to build the mystery, and I definitely want to know who he is. Like, I know who he is in the comics, but I don't.
Yeah, so you actually do know a little bit.
No, I do. So like, and that one I don't think they would go that way. They can't actually now because they showed the bottom of his face, and there's no way it could be the person he is in the comics. But it's actually a pretty good. It has a lot more to do with like the main story, and he is a very interesting character in that. But I really don't know what they're gonna do with him because if they go the way they go in the comics, there's no way people don't see that. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's no way that doesn't like pop up somewhere for people.
What,
Like to
who's
like
Black Noir?
yeah, like if they started going that like direction
I mean,
in
I don't
comics
think
and stuff like
they
that.
don't- What do you mean?
Like I mean, I feel like you'd see like that would get out there somehow in the way of like you'd see articles and people would look it up because people are curious and they don't care and like they see an article like who is Black Noir in the comics or something and then I feel like that would kind of ruin what they would do in the show. But from showing the bottom half of his
I get
face, I don't see how it could be the person that it is in the comics. I won't spoil it just in case. But
Anyway, how did you like the stuff with like the boys, like that group, the boys of the group?
I love the
Or
boys.
I don't even know what I was trying to say there.
The
Like
boy, the
literal
groups,
boys,
yeah, the
not-
group of boys.
Yeah,
Um,
there you go. That's it.
Love Carl Urban. He's great as Billy. I think
Yeah.
his kind of arc, seeing his dad and that whole backstory was good. I liked seeing these little crumbs of backstory from them, and like I really liked Frenchie's kind of arc with Lamplighter and things like that. I think they did a good job. The one person I thought they completely underserved and just felt like this weird run around mission was Kimiko. Like when she was just decided to go off and kill people for money, and then she's like, "Well, actually, no, I'm not." Like it just felt like a filler episode.
It was a quick turnaround.
It just seemed like, all right, well, we can't have Kimiko with them because then they would be evenly matched with Black Noir. What can we give Kimiko so she is occupied while Butcher and Mother's Milk and them deal with Black Noir? I don't know. Again, it comes down to, for me, I think, I don't think they had as strong of a vision on what they wanted to do for this season. And especially even like the soup terrorist stuff. I feel like they took that in a completely different direction than I would have expected. Like I get where they went with it, with like the immigration angle or whatever. But again, felt very heavy-handed and just didn't feel like the most interesting and new way to maybe explore that. I don't know. Like I would have liked to see more like actual army stuff with the soups dealing with the army and things like
right.
that.
Yeah, it's like they talk about that, but Homelander's on like Like, does he even fight with them? Like, no.
It seems to be just implied that he's going off and doing missions like
Right,
throughout, like
right. But they never really
yeah.
show him doing any of that, or like not even like Queen Maeve or like the army having like a soup team of their own. Like that's
No.
never really expressed. So I could kind of understand the gripe.
Yeah.
I really like Huey and Annie's relationship.
I love Huey. Like
Yeah,
I think Jack Quaid is
does
awesome.
does like a really good job with that character, and he's a departure from the comics as well.
Yeah.
And I think I think for the better. It doesn't seem like the critiques of the show I've seen have never been like it's the
poorly
comic book
casted.
inaccuracies are a deterrence
Mm-hmm.
from the quality.
And I do think it's a good, because you want, like, it's nice that you can read the comic and get a different story than the show. And I think there are the cores of them there. Homelander's a lot more dumb in the comics, which is, it's like, he's a guy that seems to be trying to do the right thing, but like, he just
doesn't
know how. And he's like, and apparently he like, I don't know if they explain this in the show. I think it's explained differently, but I think he grows up very quickly. So like he becomes a full-grown adult like sooner than he should. And like there's actually the one scene that the airplane scene is based off of from this first
season
is supposed to happen. It happens during 9/11, and Vought gets the army to let the Seven save the one last plane, and it's just the Seven completely fucking up because they have no idea what they're doing. Like Homelander takes the door off the plane, and all the suction kills almost everyone immediately, and then like the Deep punches out the front windshield, and it blows the jet stream through the thing. Homelander tries to the plane's going down, and he tries to redirect it, but he ends up flying through it too quickly and just punching through it. and he kills Marathon, who was like the original speedster
Mr.
on
Marathon.
yeah. Really, I read the first comic. It's a really interesting take, and like it's just cool because they do have a really different look at it than the show does. Like I feel like the show makes Homelander much more competent, just way more of a narcissist in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But Homelander, I feel like we have talked about him, but I gotta say I did think he was a little underutilized this season. Like I don't feel like I feel like he was just kind of there. Like I guess he had the arc with Stormfront.
Stormfront was driving the plot.
Yeah, you're
not
right.
necessarily.
That's true.
He was driving the plot with his son, but like that really wasn't the plot driving the narrative. That was just like a side plot that ended up being part of the main plot.
Sure.
And what did you think of Ryan and that sort of
I thought it was again like
Rebecca kind of like keeping him in kind of like in the dark, but like almost like two in the dark.
It's like Truman showing him almost like you.
Right. He's in like this perfect
kind
world
of fake
and
life.
He's not really in like reality at all.
But he still has his mother, so I guess that's like
he's very innocent and maybe not easily corruptible, but.
He's a child. He's in
right, but you can see he kind of isn't about what Homelander's about.
His mom has instilled good morals in him.
It's not like he instantly sees Homelander and thinks it's the coolest thing ever, and he's like, yeah,
he's a little like,
let's do it.
I did love the scene when he pushes him off the roof. I thought that was pretty funny.
He's like, what? He's like, oh shit.
And that was the other. I did like the idea of. They do a good job of making you feel bad for Homelander, even though he's a complete.
Here's
piece
my
of shit.
thing. I think with putting him with Stormfront and him being about the whole Nazism thing made him even more irredeemable. I would have liked if they put him in the position where he likes her and he just kind of goes along with it.
But that's kind of
and
what
I
it
think
seemed
that
like.
would have made him more redeemable.
But that even kind of seemed like what he was like. He never
Doing
really
anyway.
in the comics. He's way more racist. First off, outwardly, he calls the Deep the N-word, and it's
You
Deep,
mean
the Deep
A-Train?
is no.
Oh, the Deep is black.
and then A-Train's white, and he's like a completely different character in the comics.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and the Deep is barely
black.
used to the Deep in the comics has this. It's so all the people in the and they don't really explore this in the show, which I would love to see. But every superhero has this mythological story behind them that was created by this guy called it's not the author, but it's like the writer, but he's supposed to be the Stan Lee for Vought that came up with everyone's backstory. Like Maeve is supposed to be the queen of the underworld. Homelander obviously was supposed to have been an alien that landed on Earth.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But again, they don't really go through that much in the comics, or I'm sorry, in the show. They have these whole mythos built behind them, and I can't remember where I was going with that, but they don't really explore that in the show, which I think would be a cool thing. But they kind of eliminate that once they tell everyone Compound V. See, I don't know. because Homelander never really acts like he's like, even before he was like, I was raised on a farm. So I'd be curious to see how they actually treat that in the show.
Well, he was raised by Vogelbaum.
Yeah, but like remember they show that like one
Right, they were
when he's like in they were
right.
bullshitting and
Yeah,
so I
like
don't know.
All American, yeah.
Exactly. But I had a point to go through with that, but I can't remember what it was. Gooch, anything else on the boys? I feel like there is more.
I just don't know. Like, I know where the show is going, but I don't know how long it can last. It's kind of like Deadpool. Deadpool 2 wasn't as good because Deadpool 1 had the shock value.
See,
And that's kind of the same approach here. It's just like, I don't think we can do 5 seasons of the show and it be interesting the whole way through.
I hear you, but I think if the writing was, like I said, tighter, and I think they just had a better, more focused thing, I think this season could have been just as good as season 1. And I think there's still, again, I wasn't like done it and been like, that was awful, I'm never watching this show again, blah blah. Like, I just definitely didn't enjoy it as much as the first season. I think they need to kind of pick more, have more of a focus on what they're doing and figure out what they need to do with certain characters if they want to even keep them around, like the Deep and A-Train and all that. I just want more focus, I think, really is it.
One thing I liked was the flashbacks for like Mallory's Mallory's voice.
I thought that was cool.
And I kind of like how it looks like Billy Butcher's gonna essentially be like they're gonna make that the boys again.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And I guess Huey's not gonna be involved, but JK he's gonna be.
Oh, for sure.
First 2 episodes he'll be like trying to do it, and then we'll get pulled back in or some shit.
That's one of the things I did think was interesting. That like Huey was like, I want to do this the right way, but he ends up going to work for another.
Notice Starlight was in her.
I saw that.
I really like Starlight's like first costume,
and I think that's.
I don't like that fucking wig, and I like she looks like so ridiculous. Like,
and that's
it's not
point.
even like it's not even like the sexualization of it. It just looks bad.
It just is not a good costume. It's
right. I think you're right. It is kind of the point.
But that's exactly like. I think that kind of shows you on a visual level, obviously, that she now has some power there. So she's like, I'm wearing my old uniform.
I wonder if they're gonna replace anyone on the 7, or if the next season is just gonna be.
Well, so the A-Train's back. Remember they said
right,
so he's
but Stormfront's dead.
That he replaced Stormfront again because he said there was only one spot open.
Oh right, end. Translucent died.
Yeah,
so there's another spot open.
Well,
right.
so now
Stormfront's gone.
Yeah,
she was the addition because she took Translucent spot.
Correct. And then we didn't lose any. Yeah, Deep. So now they got.
The Deep is gone. So there's two spots.
Well, but I don't think because he said there was only one spot.
Black Noir, Homelander, Queen Maeve, Starlight, A-Train. There's 2 spots left. Because Translucent was always gone last season, and then the Deep left.
Man, we aren't missing anyone. Well, that's weird because he did. Remember at the end he said he was like, "There's only room for 2 right now, or 1 right now."
Yeah, because. A-Train is the comeback story.
Yeah.
They can't have 2 comebacks.
Oh, I get what you mean.
That's what he was saying. Point. Oh, so let's talk about the ending with Victoria Newman.
Yeah.
She was the one blowing up people's heads, man.
Yeah. So
I didn't see that coming at all. I thought it was the Church of the Collective.
No, that's what I thought too. And my question now is I'm wondering if she was born with superpowers or like she was one of the Compound V babies. I don't think she was because I feel like Vought would have tabs on her. I think she somehow got her hands on Compound V and injected herself and gave herself superpowers. That's my best guess. But again, I did like that kind of theme of. I appreciated what they brought back around of that. Everyone's kind of a piece of shit. Even the politicians that you think are fighting for everyone to be cool and we're all good and everyone get along. They don't want everyone to get along because that doesn't push anything forward for them. They need the divisiveness, and I thought that was a pretty interesting theme to kind of wrap up with. But
see, I think that theme is relevant just as much as the Nazism one, but I think it's done in a very clever way because it's not just
I get even I don't know the Nazi one was
you
just
needed
so
to tell me that for me to point that out. I didn't just make that.
No, exactly. That's definitely more
on my own.
Exactly, and that's the thing. I get it, but that whole story, the whole Nazi thing just felt like such a, like I said before, caricature of what really goes on, and it's just the simplest most base way of explaining it, and I feel like it doesn't get through everything, but it's just weird. They're just well, they're all Nazis. It's no, that's not. You guys are. This is the thing that no one's getting.
Who's all Nazis?
The idea of that whole thing, they are projecting that everyone's getting behind this, not the people, how Stormfront easily tricks all these people into following her. even though she's a secret Nazi. Like, I don't know. Again, heavy-handed. I felt
Right. I mean, she's building an army, but like she has like ulterior motives.
Exactly.
And she's using like misinformation and like half truths to kind of like,
Yeah, sure.
turn people without like being obvious what her
Oh, yeah. No,
stance is.
exactly. I get that.
Like. Obviously, she's not openly a Nazi, but she's a Nazi.
No, I get. Yeah, I understand that.
Right.
Again, heavy-handed. That was really it. But I'm trying to think, Gooch.
No, I think that's all I got.
Making sure I'm not missing anything.
I think we covered.
I
pretty much
really love
everything.
Mother's Milk, so I'm going to say MM. I think he's my favorite boy.
You notice. Huey's always wearing like '80s band shirts.
It's usually like I feel like most of the time it was a Billy Joel shirt.
It's a Billy. He wears a Journey shirt.
Oh, did he? That's awesome.
MM is always wearing '90s rap, and Frenchie is just French.
It's being French.
Awesome.
Huey. Betty, huh?
That was pretty bad.
Oh, come on, Gooch. All right. Well, thank you all for watching live with us on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. We very much appreciate it. You can find this podcast anywhere you find podcasts. Just search Delco Nerd Network. We are also on all the socials. Just search @Delco Nerds, YouTube, all that good jazz. You can find all this information on our website, www.delconerdnetwork.com. For Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.